The last time the NOVAR Verizon Cup Series hit the track, Shane Narga took the victory at the Brickyard to win at Indianapolis. This week's race, we head to Mosport, the final road course race of the year, as it is a 2.4 mile road course. Most of this road course is actually mostly wide sweeping turns. There's only, out of all the entire turns, there's only the one sharp right-hander, which is the best spot for passing here. But other than that, this track is mostly a widespread track. Going into this weekend, Scott Johnson was most likely the favorite to win the race due to the fact that his road course successes have also came through, and Mobile One Racing has also had some success along with it. This race will also be a critical stretch of the championship venue, which, after leaving this weekend, if you are not within 132 points of the race leader, you will be eliminated from title contention, and as a result, if you are eliminated from title contention, you will have to race your way into the Columbia weekend, as the Columbia weekend is very different from the past several weekends, as unlike the regular South Carolina Part-Time Challenge where nobody's locked in, the championship contenders that are left going into Columbia will automatically be locked in to ensure them that they are safe to race at Columbia, and all they have to worry about is just to race for the championship and not having to race their way in. So that's basically an explanation on why I have to say that. So now we'll hand it over to Kendall Johnson for the race recap, and it's actually quite a short one. So Casey Hutto in car number 19 leads the field down. He starts on the right side, just like at Camden. Shane Narga in the 32, last week's winner on our outside. Ryan Pierce and Logan Chin making up the second row. Looks like Ryan Pierce and Logan Chin are already making a move. They're going to be 3 wide heading out of turn number 1, and that's not going to work because all 3 of them are going to wreck. And that basically stacks everybody up, and that gives Casey Hutto a huge enough lead. There you see the 32s go around. Ryan Pearson keeps on going. Chadler Blake is somehow up high, and as a result, he's actually going to fall way back as a result of that. So we have an early race carnage. However, that was not the only carnage. James Wilson Jr. in the 11 runs the 5 Casey Littinger into the wall. James Wilson Jr. in the 11 also does likewise. Casey Littinger would actually struggle his way to get to the pits, while James Wilson Jr. was just stuck there. Shane Clark III in car number 98 would get into the tire wall. Stephen Vulcan, the 29, would also do likewise. However, unlike Shane Clark III, which drives away, Stephen Vulcan, the 29, stuck there. But meanwhile, back up front, Casey Hutto had built up a huge lead. Eddie Johns and the 55 had gone around Scott Johnson and Shane Harden, the second and third place cars, and has run down the 19 of Casey Hutto. Casey Hutto in car number 19 has had a decent season so far, but however after he was led the points at, I believe, 1 point in the season, he kind of faded, and we never really heard of him kind of in the championship standings again. But he's making a good race here at Mosport, with the 55 of Eddie Johns right now just trailing behind, as the 19 of Hutto is struggling with the 14 of 1. As meanwhile, Casey Hutto in the 19 tries to get around that 14. Hutto runs the corner a little wide, and as a result, Eddie Johns, car number 55, will head to the race lead in car number 55. And Eddie Johns in the 55 will be able to get away. Casey Hutto will try again, as Hutto in the 19 will go to the inside, as Hutto gets the lead and then overruns the second to last corner, bounces into the wall, and then Hutto elects to pit, but then runs straight into the pit wall. So that's kind of a strange turn of events. You go from racing into the lead and then to smacking the front of the pit wall. Here's Todd Piper, car number 26. Right now he's running in the 6th spot, and with Chadler Blake struggling throughout the entire race, it appears that the 26 will actually get a gain on the point standing, unless with these cars continuing to fall out of the race, with Blake actually gaining a lot of spots because all of these drivers are falling out of the race. There you see Piper going around the corner. He's actually has a separated gap over the 0-3 of Shane Howard and Thomas Lillers at the 16, which I believe they're battling it out for the 7th spot. Keith Hales, car number 27, is also doing likewise, as Todd Piper going into this weekend, he actually had a shot to take the points lead at Indianapolis, but he was wrecked by James Wilson Jr., and that kind of evaporated that chance. But he still could potentially have a chance to take the points lead if he can get a few more spots and Blake somehow gets involved in a wreck, which I think with all these cars crashing out and Blake staying away from trouble, I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen. But cutting the points lead, that should not be a problem for car number 26. Here's Ray Lennox on car number 78, as he makes rare NOVAR appearances nowadays, but whenever he does, he makes a very good appearance out of it, as car number 78 is right now running in the 10th spot. Thomas Lillers is just ahead of that number 78. When Lando made his debut at Casey, when I believe everybody that did not make their first start of the year made their debut at Casey, Ray Lennox had a very impressive debut And actually, he is running right now in the 10th spot, as he actually had a very impressive debut. He almost won it, that event, as he almost won at Casey as he rounds there. Almost won at Casey as he rounds there. As he rounds off the corner, Thomas Lawyers and I believe Keith Hales are right there ahead. There's Shane Howard in the 03, also doing it likewise. As meanwhile, back up front, Eddie Johns would actually still lead until he was held up by Cody White, and Scott Johnson, car number 58, will make a move under the 55, and Scott Johnson, car number 58, to the race lead, as Scott Johnson, who has actually been one of the strongest cars on the road course events, as he had a very strong car at Edmonton, could have actually had one, but he was involved in an early wreck. Was probably one of the favorites and one of the fastest cars all weekend at Road America, but was involved in a wreck. Camden, he, I believe, also had a decent car, but never really was up front. And now he has a chance. There you see Cody White on the number 22, holding up the 55 of Eddie Johns. The 58 Scott Johnson's going to get by the 98, as Eddie Johns just gets into the back of Cody White, as White comes up the track and gets into the wall there. As White will continue on going. Keep on going on number 22, a little Dodge Charger. There you see Eddie Johns. He lost the second spot, but does the 55 have the ability to catch the 58? But meanwhile, the 27 of Keith Hales actually would make an interesting save here. He overruns one of the corners and then gets into the wall, gets a little bit of airtime there, and then loses a spot to Shane Howard. However, he makes a nice recovery of his, as they take that wide sweeping left-hander and then up the left sweeping right-hander. Then take that sharp right-hander there. That's the only sharp corner there. As Shane Howard in the 03, as Keith Hales, even though actually almost losing the car there, he actually gets some damage there. He actually is trying to go back for that. I believe this is for the 5th spot, if I'm not mistaken, in car number 27. Because Hales is gonna see about line. He's gonna try to peek to the inside there. Try to peek on the right side of Howard. Howard can't get a run there. Now Hales is in the 27. He's going to try to go to the outside. Does Hales have enough? Hales has a shot, but he overruns the car and hits the wall, hits the tires, and car number 27, Keith Hales, looks like he will be done for the day in car number 27. But meanwhile, back up front, Scott Johnson has virtually been unchallenged ever since taking the lead away from the 55 of Eddie Johns, as the 58 rounds off these couple of corners, as Scott Johnson has basically been one of the strongest cars. And I did mention he had a very strong car on the road courses. And as a result of his recent successes on the road courses and also on the ovals, as Johnson had one of the best cars in Indianapolis, but really faded away and never really was able to recover. He's actually clawed his way up to the point standings in the number 58 Ford Fusion for Mobile One Racing. As up ahead, Luke Warren in the 14 is off the pace. Shane Clark third in the 98, and Blake Tagliano. But Tagliano, I believe, was just lapped, while Shane Clark third had already been lapped a couple of times. Then we'll just come down the 58, takes the right-hander here, then takes the second to last corner, and then coming to the last corner, Scott Johnson, the 58, he will see the white flag this time by. So car number 58, there's the white flag coming out. As the 58 of Scott Johnson, he's going to head into turn number 1 right here, takes that wide sweeping right-hander, and then goes up the hill for turn number 2, which is a slight left-hander here, and then turn 3 right here. As the 58 then turn 4 with a right-hander here. As Johnson has about a 13.5 second gap over Eddie Johns, car number 55. As the 58 of Scott Johnson climbs up the hill for the final time. Now down turn number 5, the left-hander. Turn 6 and 7 were the two toughest quarters that Scott Johnson will have to maneuver, and it appears that 58 will do so quite easily, as the 58 of Scott Johnson takes turn 8 and then up the hill for the final time. And then he's got Luke Warren on the 14 to deal with, but he's got about 13.5 seconds to work with. As Scott Johnson, he's had some really good cars at the road courses, but he's just not had the luck to do so. And now Scott Johnson coming to take the second to last corner, and then the last corner. Scott Johnson in car number 58 will go and take the victory here at Mosport, with Eddie Johns finishing in second. So after having some poor luck at the road courses while having very strong cars, Scott Johnson finally gets a victory here at a road course. He wins at Mosport, leading 27 of the 51 laps that were completed. Eddie Johns, car number 55, gets his second straight top 10 finish with a second place finish. Third place is Walter Youthon in car number 8 for Ease Racing. He finished 18 seconds behind the leaders and 4 seconds behind Eddie Johns. Fourth place was Todd Piper, car number 26. Piper, who needed a good day after his miserable day at Indianapolis, which had his points increased, but with the way he finished today, he will close the points gap. Finishing in 5th is Shane Howard, car number 03. He finished 42 seconds back of the leader and 12 seconds back of Todd Piper. Ray Lanoso on car number 78 gets another top 10 finish for car number 78. Ray Lanoso has been proven that whenever he does qualify for a race, that 78 is always quite strong. In 7th is Thomas Lawyers in car number 16. He finished about 2 seconds back from Lanoso. And Tony Wider in the number 35 rounds out the car's leads. That was on the lead lap. He was 55 seconds back in the 8th spot. 9th is Blake Battagliano in car number 50. He was 1 lap down. And Jason Duke in the 66 will round out your top 10. He was 1 lap down as well. Other than those 10, only 4 of the cars finished the race. Chadlow Blake finished 11th. Luke Warren in the 14 finished 12th. Both of them were 1 lap down. Shane Clark III finished 13th, and then Ryan Pearson finished 14th. Those cars were 3 laps down. And now let's take a look at your point standing. Chadlow Blake still leads the points lead by 11 this time. Then Todd Piper in the 26, he is in second in points with 477 points. However, he is a good 30 points back, 30 points ahead of Cody Weick on 22, who is in third in points. As the top 4 remain virtually unchanged. Actually, the top 5 remain virtually unchanged. With Shane Nargan in 32 finish is in 4th. Keith Hales, car number 27, is in the 5th spot in point. The only change that happened was Jason Duke in the 66 jumps 1 spot to the 6th spot. 7th is Scott Johnson in the 58 in the Mobile 1 Ford Fusion. He gains 5 spots to the 7th spot, so he went from 12th to 7th. And Shane Clark III in the 98 rounds out the top 8. And 9 through 15, we got Casey Lester in car number 12, who was, I believe, 3rd in points at 1 point in the stretch. However, in the last couple of races had a bad luck, and as a result, Casey Lester will fall 3 spots to 9th. Brandon Green in car number 30, he falls 1 spot to 10th with 104 points back. 110 points back, that's Logan Chin in car number 72. 111 points back, Tony Wider in car number 35 is in 12th. Damon Scott in the 18, he falls 5 spots to 13th, while Tony Wider gained 5 spots. Jay Honori in the 01 only loses 1 spot. And Blake Battagliano rounds out the top 15 with a 3-spot gain in 15th, 121 points back. As a result, we only have 3 races remaining on the calendar, so anybody be 132 points or below is automatically eliminated. Luke Warren in the 14 is the first driver with the first driver eliminated. He has 136 points back. The other cars among the top 15 and among the top 20 that still remain: Shane Harden, Justin Klingston, Mark Mungillo, and Casey Huto. Harden and Klingston have 121 points back. Mark Mungillo in car number 20 has 129 points back. And Casey Huto in the 19 has 132 points back. These 4 drivers all still have a shot to win the title. However, they need a lot of help in order for them to do so. Next week's race will be at the Talladega Superspeedway in Talladega, Alabama.